with SpokeWorks Bicycle Workshop. I'm here with a few of my friends in the shop. Paul, Mike, Tom, and Andy, some employees and some ambassadors here. So we're going to talk just a very little bit about some of the mountain bike lineups with the brand Specialized. Each of us own a particular bike in their lineup, and we want to explain to you, if you're not familiar with those particular models, the difference between some of these models, where they're appropriate to ride, why they are appropriate to ride in that environment, and what's different, what we like about them. So I'm going to pass it off to Mike. He's our head of service here. He's going to talk to you a little bit about the Specialized chisel.
Michael, thank you very much. As I talk about the chisel, you can't see it, but I am enjoying a very delicious hot bar you can get here at SpokeWorks Bicycle Workshop. Several beers on tap, as well as a coffee bar. Michael, you said I ride the Specialized chisel. I love the chisel. I actually have my chisel set up as a single speed. I am running a 3216, running a pretty aggressive narrow bar, and I'm running an 80mm Reba force. One thing that I really love about the chisel, it gets back to a very aggressive cross-country position with the 68.5 head tube and 80mm travel. I'm running actually 69. Extremely nimble fork. Love the bike. Couldn't be happier with it. With that said, we're going now to Tom, talk about his Epic.
Yeah, I ride the Specialized Epic. It was a decision that I made that it facilitated my style of riding. I like light bikes and I like fast bikes. So this one, carbon fiber frame, cross-country geometry with a head tube at 67.5 degrees, 100mm travel on the front and the rear. And I think it's a great bike for around here. If you plan on participating in some cross-country races, it's a great choice to go with. If you want to get even more bang for a lot more buck, you can go with their World Cup edition, which has that inline rear shock and that top tube. Been loving it. Just did some modifications on it, and hopefully gonna have some successes during the race season this year. Now I'm gonna hand it off to Andy.
Hey, I'm Andy. I ride the Specialized Epic Evo. For me, it's kind of the party version of the Epic. It's got 120mm travel up front, 110 in the rear. It comes with a 66.5 degree head tube angle. However, there's a little twist tip in there, and you can reduce that to 66 degrees. That also lowers the bottom bracket by 10 degrees, so it's a little bit more connected to trail on downhills. One of the reasons why I love this bike is it's a perfect all-arounder. I know they throw out the term downcountry quite a bit nowadays. This is your downcountry bike from Specialized, in my opinion. I've taken this everywhere, all over the low country. Great on the trails, hooks up well. I've ridden up in the mountains too. Flies down the downhills at DuPont, and I've even taken it to Pisgah. Very good at climbing. That's one of the things I love about it. I ran the Swank 65 race, 26 miles and a little over 5,000 feet elevation. And I'm not a small guy, but I was actually I was passing people on the uphills on this bike, so that felt good. Love the bike all around. Great bike. Can't go wrong. Very pleased with it. I'm going to hand it over to little Mr. Paul over there and his stump jumper.
So excuse my voice, but I'm going to tell you, I have the stump jumper right here. I love this bike. I too like to go fast. I too love my cross-country style of bikes, but I love this bike because it's a great trail bike. It's 140 up front, 130 in the back. It's not too aggressive with the suspension that you can't ride here and have fun, but it's perfect for when I head up to Pisgah and DuPont. It's just a fun bike to ride. It's an easy bike to ride. It's a good all-around bike. So that's what makes it a lot of fun for me. I really enjoy that bike. I know this is silly, but what I really like about this bike is there's a pocket in it where I can put my stuff, my snacks, my tubes, everything. You can hide it inside the interior of the bike. I think that's kind of cool. But that's not the total reason I love this bike. I just love this bike because it's such a good bike to ride all around. So I know it's not as aggressive as yours, so why don't you tell us about yours?
Paul, you're mentioning the SWAT box and carbon Specialized mountain bikes, particularly these three. the swap box, yeah, storage is pretty cool to have your stuff kind of centered on the bike, kind of a lower center of gravity stuff. That's what you're mentioning. I ride, one of the bikes that I have is the Stump Jumper Evo. And kind of mentioned, you know, Epic to Epic Evo, Stump Jumper to Stump Jumper Evo. Evo typically means the componentry level is kind of from the middle to the very upper end, and the geometry and the travel tends to be a little greater. So in other words, very cross-country on the Epic Evo tends to be a little more aggressive. Stump Jumper, kind of the Swiss Army knife of bikes, mountain bikes, and then the Evo a little more aggressive. So my Stump Jumper Evo, 160 up front, 150 in the rear. When I first got this bike, this was my first, not my first mountain bike, but a few mountain bikes ago, and I was riding it primarily around here, but realized it's pretty aggressive around here. It's a bit much. This is now my, you know, Pisgah mountain bike, where we're seeing pretty gravity-fed, chunky terrain. So it's touching on enduro in that travel and aggressiveness. It's got a 64.5 degree head tube angle, which is pretty aggressive and allowing for that longer travel. I love the bike, but certainly, again, it has its place, and I don't think in the low country this is the go-to bike. I think you guys would agree, most likely. You're wanting to ride primarily in the low country, and then, you know, every number of weeks hit DuPont. I would veer on the side of, you know, Stump Jumper, Epic Evo, Epic, and even the Chisel, to be honest with you, in its pure non-single speed form. This tends to be more of a, you know, more of your aggressive Pisgah.
Absolutely.
It climbs well, but compared to these bikes, it's going to be a little bit slower on the climb. So anyway, that's the lineup of the five of our bikes. Hopefully that makes a little more sense as traveling from your, you know, single speed cross country down to your more aggressive, touching an enduro bike. This is Mike, Andy, Mike, Andy.
Real
Tom,
quick,
Paul.
one thing I want to add to this is these aren't floor bikes. These are all bikes that we ride day in and day out. So if you really want to come in, talk to us, get a sense for what we actually ride, these are the bikes that we ride. These aren't just, hey, check out our Specialized bikes. We all ride these bikes religiously, very often, and are very intimate with how each one of them performs. So please come check them out and have a beer or coffee.
Yeah, I mean,
roll on in.
And that's why we're here. I mean, it's one of the reasons that we wanted to do this, is to let customers know who haven't been here or maybe don't understand the bike lineup that we are really passionate about the bikes that we ride, and that we can very much speak to those models particularly and answer your questions. You get to the right model for your style of riding. Thanks.